A family in Newcastle say they're being victimised because they have red hair. The couple, who have 4 children, say they've been forced to move home 3 times because of taunts and abuse. The father, Kevin Chapman, says their children have been repeatedly bullied for being ginger. It's made their lives a misery.
This house is a perfect size for us. I mean, I thought I would be really happy here, but under the circumstances, we can't take any more if the stuff that's going on with it, and I have asked to be moved. Where the move is to, I wasn't bothered. I've even suggested I would move in a field with a tent, you know, just to get a bit of peace and harmony, and just to be, it's for to be left alone really. It's just let me get on with life. It's all bullying and abuse, where the kids are getting beaten up, they're getting all the name calling. Every name you could think of, they'll get it thrown at them from one direction or another. My cars have been smashed up. I've had my windows have been put out.
Well, watching that with me is the photojournalist Charlotte Rushton, who's now working on a book of portraits of red-haired people, and as you can see, is red-headed herself. Watching that through, what did you make of
Well, I think it's
situation?
absolutely tragic. It's horrendous that people should be subjected to victimisation just because of the colour of their hair. I mean, it goes without saying. I'm sure most normal people in the country are outraged by this. The only thing that can be said is it's an extreme example of what happens to redheads in this country.
Is it your experience?
It is, yes.
Like what? Give us an idea.
One of the worst things that happened was at boarding school being pinned down by 6 boys on a ping pong table, and they wanted to see if I was redhead, natural redhead. And I fought my way off and said, you know, I laughed it off and said it doesn't matter. But, you know, these things happen. I get spat on, I get yelled at in the street. This doesn't just happen to me, it happens to Charlie Dimmock, it happens to Mick Hucknall.
Are you saying those kind of things happen to you now as an adult? I mean, to some degree, you have to put the things that happen in childhood, because they could pick on a lot of things.
Of course.
Could be red hair, could be, you know, fat. Not that any of that is right, but it does happen. As an adult, you're saying the same thing carries on? It's
childish pranks which continue through adult life, and I spoke to a Harley Street consultant who told me he still gets yelled at in the street, "Oi, Ginger!" He's walking along with his briefcase and his beautiful cashmere suit. It's hilarious. Why is this okay?
We can have a look at some of the pictures, because you're working on, you've taken a lot of photographs of red-headed people. We're having a look at a couple of pictures now. Why do the book? I mean, you're putting it out there, obviously, very deliberately. What's the idea? The idea is to celebrate red hair. It's a national treasure. It should be valued. We are a subculture of society that is pretty much ridiculed and not really embraced as a significant part of our population. Is there some of this that is acceptable? I mean, you know that amongst friends, for example, things can be said. Is any of that acceptable? I mean, or do you draw? If anyone ever comments on your colour of your hair, do you immediately feel like they're having a go? I don't want to be defensive about it. I think it's very amusing, but it does go too far sometimes. And the odd thing is that it's okay for people to say to me, "Well, you're quite pretty, Ted." We could talk about this a lot, I know. I'm sure we'll get lots of comments on this too. Charlotte, thank you very much for your time this morning.
My pleasure.
It's been fascinating.